What's good, YouTube? This is Boxingwave, and we are back with another fight recap over the weekend. Roman Villa defeats Rashidi, the undefeated Rashidi Ellis, in a big upset and the fight of the night, in my opinion, on the undercard of Tank Davis and Hector Luis Garcia. My thoughts is, I was worried about this guy before the fight, and everything that I was concerned about before this fight actually happened in the ring. And everything that was happening in the ring when Rashidi Ellis was having success, was still concerned about the outcome of this fight. And what I was fearing happened. Villa came back strong, pulled it off in the second half of the fight, and was able to drop Rashidi Ellis twice in the last round. All right. I believe it was just twice. All right. Officially, I think. Rashidi Ellis comes out fast as usual, showing some good cat-like reflexes, being really slippery, controlling the distance doing a good job controlling the distance early on. Made Villa look very clumsy in the ring. All right, Villa just wasn't using a jab, wasn't feinting, wasn't changing levels, was just coming straight forward, looking very slow and clumsy in the first 5 rounds, which I gave to Rashidi Ellis. Okay, Villa just wasn't giving me anything. It was making it look very easy for Rashidi Ellis. I think the one complaint that I have for Ellis is that there were times where his back was against the ropes and or his back was to the corner, and he got into some exchanges that I thought was dangerous. All right. Now, at that time, he wasn't getting hit too much, but I didn't like the fact that he was putting himself there. I didn't felt like he needed to be there. I thought he was doing the best when he kept the fight in the center of the ring, but he wasn't able to do that. And then out of nowhere, and if you guys were here while I was doing commentary, the 6th round, Villa started to use the jab. All right. He started feinting. He was getting low. He started to dig to the body. Okay. He was actually boxing with power. Now, was he as quick as Speedy? Absolutely not. Was he as accurate as Speedy? Absolutely not. But he was landing the more effective shots. He was the one coming forward and making Rashidi Ellis back up. The judges liked it. Clearly, because of the scorecard. 2 of them gave it 114-112 to Villa, and 1 of them had it a draw. So, look, Villa did he won because he did exactly what he was supposed to do. It was a brilliant plan by him and his team to give up the rounds early, let Speedy slow down a little bit, let him get comfortable, and surprise him. And it was a very, and basing on the amount of rounds he gave him, because it was 5. It was 5 to be exact. Because we watched it together. It was 5 to be exact. Villa looked very, very clumsy for those 5 rounds. It looked like he had nothing. Just a guy just coming forward. The thing is, Ellis wasn't landing anything that really affected Villa. Villa just kept coming forward. Nothing hurt him. He was coming forward. Yes, he was taking a lot of jabs. He was taking a lot of clean shots. But Ellis wasn't displaying no kind of power. It looks similar to the Alexis Rocha fight, but Villa did it better once he started to pick it up. And Villa was a puncher. And there was times he started landing big shots on Ellis that started to really slowly hurt him. And as we were watching the fight, we're all saying is Ellis is in trouble. Now, there are some rounds there's a couple rounds in the second half I still gave to Ellis. I think he still had his moments. I think there was some points in the fight where he was still in control because he was doing well when the fight was in the center of the ring. But he was getting pressured so much that he wasn't able to hold the fight in the center of the ring. He kept getting backed up because he didn't have the firepower to go back and forth with Villa, who was much bigger, stronger, and hit much harder. So once Ellis started to tie up continuously, that made me know that he cannot control this man. He lost the distance. He lost control of it. And Villa started to shut him down. And in the final round, where I thought Ellis was barely ahead of the fight, and going into the final round, Villa was able to knock him down 2 times in that round and almost stopping Ellis. I didn't even think Ellis was going to survive the round, but he did. And he lost the fight on the cards. And to be honest, I said to you guys before the fight, I said if there's going to be a period where Ellis is going to be exposed, it could happen tonight, simply because Ellis haven't done enough to this point to prove that he's really a top tier fighter. He's looked impressive. He looked impressive against Eddie Gomez. He got the win against Alexis Rocha. He did outbox Alexis Rocha, and those are solid wins. But due to the activity, inactivity, and due to the lack of real punching power, what happens when someone is pressuring you and is stronger and powerful? Rocha is good. But he's not a KO artist. Villa is 25 wins, 24 knockouts going to the fight. He shows up at the damn press conference taller than anybody on that damn card. He's the tallest one there, outside of the super middleweights. He's the tallest one there, fighting at 147. He box rec. He's 5'7". Ellis says, I was surprised he was that tall. At that point, and the way Ellis looked, the way he was talking, he was locked in. Ellis seemed to be concerned about Andrade. He looked uncomfortable with Andrade. I'm sorry. Boots Ennis. He's smiling, all that awkwardness. I think he was intimidated by this guy. And even though he was having success early, couldn't maintain it because that guy was locked in. And he boxed better than what we thought he did. I have no dispute with the fight. I think I still scored it 7 rounds. Was it 7 rounds to 5 for Ellis? But there were swing rounds in there. I can't, based on the way I scored it a draw. Because I scored it 7 rounds to 5 with the 2 knockdowns. All right, but if there's a judge that gives Villa one extra round than what I gave him, I can't dispute that. It's just too close. The scorecards were all close. 1 draw and 114, 2 114, 112 cards. What does Ellis do? Well, if he gets the rematch, that's cool, but the rematch can be just as risky, if anything. It could be very, very risky. This guy has already beaten you, and he knows exactly how to beat you. And he had extremely good cardio. What happens in the second fight if Villa starts out a little faster? He already felt your power. He know exactly what you're going to do. In fact, not for nothing, but even Ellis looks like once you get past his speed, he wasn't that good at controlling the distance. He wasn't that good at it. He was good. He had his moments, but he wasn't that good at doing it. I don't want to blame it all on lack of power. I think a lot of it has to do with him not being able to move that well. He wasn't slippery enough. It just wasn't enough. And he paid for it. And this guy Villa was tough. And if they are going to run it back, because they're talking about running it back at the end of the fights, if it really is going to happen, it's going to be just as tough, if not tougher, because the guy already knows how to beat you. Now, of course, Ellis can do some adjustments, but, if you start out slower because you want to pace yourself a little better and you want to be stronger in the later rounds, you might give up some early rounds in that rematch. What if Villa comes out faster? What if he beats you up even more? It's very risky for him, but it's a fight that he needed. If he is going to come back and make a comeback, because it's just 1 loss, I'm not going to crucify him for losing a fight. But if he is going to return, I got to work on some things now. And he has to return quick because all this inactivity is not good for him. I understand you was with Golden Boy, they couldn't get you in the ring, but you had all this inactivity, man. You know, over the last few years. Um, get back in the gym, take some time off, but get back in the gym and just understand that we now have seen you lose to a pressure fighter. All right? You got to work on some things, you know? And I think he could come back strong, but I don't know. You know, sucks, but it is what it is. Good win for Villa. Congratulations to him. And you know, hopefully, you know, if we don't get a rematch, maybe Villa could get another opportunity. You know, I mean, now people are gonna look at him. You know, now if Boots can't get another, and I'll talk about Boots in the next video, but you know, Boots can't secure a fight with a Virgil Ortiz or a champion at this division or a Keith Thurman or Ugas or whatever, then, you know, pick up this guy. This guy is powerful. He just won against Rashidi Ellis, a guy that we were all just saying that Boots should fight. Pick up the fight against Villa. Because now we're all watching this guy. We'll see. All right, man. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm out. Peace.